What's up out there? It is time to travel into the Abyss. It is now out today. This is one of the quality of life things, that offline counter deal. I feel like it takes longer to load into the games now, but we've got the Into the Abyss expansion out now, and it is a very, very hefty expansion. This one is big. Okay, so if you're trying to figure out how to get into the expansion itself, what you have to do is go over to the Dungeons tab and then run the Abyssal Approach. This is going to give you a strange sword, and then you need to run into the Abyss with that strange sword. You can't actually run this until you, there's no pet here, is there? No pets. Yep, there's pets there. There's no pets in these. So basically you have to run the Abyssal Approach, kill off whatever monsters are there, get the strange sword, equip that sword, and then you can run into the Abyss. Now, I would like to recommend very strongly, let me stop what I am doing here. I would very strongly recommend that you go out and grab the Combat Indicators mod. This is awesome. This is a great mod, and you will see why here in a second. So if I go to my melee combat style, and we jump into, let's say we jump into, it's better I can just show you combat areas. So you go in here, we go fight the cow. What the combat indicator does is it shows the blue bar, which is where my auto eat threshold is, and the yellow bar, which is what the enemy's max hit is. If this crosses that line, it turns the bar yellow. So it will tell you you're about to take a massive hit and you're going to die. Why is that important? Well, if you go fight the Abyssal Scarecrows, you will see that this thing lights that whole bar up yellow, and that means you're going to die because their main hit is bigger than your health bar. So I would really recommend you put that on because the Abyssal areas are completely different combat-wise than what we are used to. So you will notice that in the Abyssal side of things, your auto eat, you're up at 12,417 life. This is max everything with whatever gear and all the bonuses that I get. I have 12,417 life, so my auto eat's 5,463. If I were to switch over to just a regular combat area, and did we not fight? Why did we not fight? What? Is it because I have this sword on? So if I swap the sword out, then everything changes. Okay. So as soon as I switch this over, everything switches, like 567 auto eat with 1289. We switch over to this, it's 12,417 and 5463. So things change drastically, and I got to put my put this thing back on and set that as my new save spot or my new set point. But at any rate, when you swap weapons and stuff, it's a massive difference. It is definitely a massive difference. Now, the expansion, where I've generally given advice before and said, hey, buy all the expansions because what you get from Throne of the Herald and what you get from Atlas of Discovery can all help the base game and everything's cool. Nope, this one is a straight up, you cannot access anything from this expansion. In fact, none of the little red numbers show up until you've gone into the Abyss. So you have to beat the base game, which means beating the Impending Darkness event. Like, you have to beat Impending Darkness before this will even work. You can't do anything with this until you've beaten Impending Darkness. So there's nothing in fact, very little, we'll cover it here in a minute, but very little actually crosses back and forth. It looks like it's kind of weird and I don't like it. I wish things would explain themselves a little bit, and it's kind of trial and error and you got to find out, and I don't really care for that all that much. That's why I recommend that combat indicator mod so that you can see the damage difference because it may not be apparent. And I've also noticed that when you're fighting something, let's go in here and fight cows. We'll go fight a cow. So things don't seem as prominent. Like I feel like you used to be able to see damage numbers a little bit better. Like it's down here somewhere. Max hit, normal hits, 4774. I feel like that was, I don't know, maybe it's up in the passive side. I don't know. It just feels a little weird. So Let's see here. First and foremost, you cannot idle anything here and in the regular game at all. So if I go over to wood cutting and switch over to the Melvor realm, it instantly takes me out of combat. So you can't do both at the same time. Okay, cool. I was curious about that for relic mode. You know, could I push into the abyss stuff? Nope, you can only idle one thing at a time. Let's see here. What else do we need to say? To get through these dungeons up here, the abyssal approach was not bad. The into the abyss part, some of this monster, this is abyssal scarecrow, does a lot of damage. I think something in here was trying to kill me, and I don't remember what it was. But what I ended up doing is I equipped, so I've started getting these enhancements. I got the one to double loot in combat, whatever. I also got the one for 6% melee max hit, and I equipped that. And then I equipped this one here. I've got the God's Enhancement 3, which gives 4% max hit points. And then as far as like agility and stuff goes, I tried to equip, like I've got the plus 50 max hit points. This one gives plus 20. Damage reduction doesn't matter, I don't think. But the hit point does. So I went with the hit point one there for Obstacle 8. So what do we got here? Obstacle 5 gives you hit points. Obstacle 6 gives you hit points. Obstacle 8 gives you hit points. I think I don't know how many of these other ones apply, like doubling damage and stuff like that. I don't think really applies. Doubling items globally. Globally doesn't mean globally, by the way, which is weird. I think that's odd. I had to switch my pillars over because we get, what do we get in here? I thought we got some life in here somewhere too. At any rate, I gave myself as much life as I could because I moved that little blue bar over the yellow bar and made sure I wasn't going to die. That's what I'm kind of driving at, is I gave myself some life. Your food does not heal for anything like you think it will. Like this is not, you're going from 1531 to 1425. Your healing actually goes down with this food, which is kind of odd. So we're going to have to make sure and get food from the new area and all that kind of stuff, which, I mean, it's kind of obvious. But so anyway, equip all the stuff the best gear that you have. The damage reduction does not apply, but your amount of damage does. So like if I take this Verloren helmet off, my max hit's going to go from 1299 to 1195. So even though you're not getting damage reduction or something like that from the gear, you're actually going to be gaining damage from whatever combination of stuff you have. So if you got something that gives life or something like that, it's good to put on. The Elder Crown does nothing. You don't get bleed. You don't get fire. Like there's a lot of things that just don't apply on the Abyssal Realm. It's like completely separate from the base game. I did put the Ring of Power on here because it adds a little bit of max hit. I don't know that the enemies have minus 5% damage reduction applies, but I put it on there because of the max hit part. I put the Agile Gem on because it increases my attack speed, makes it go faster. The Leviathan Shield, damage reduction doesn't necessarily seem to apply, but I get strength bonuses and defense bonuses and stuff like that from this, so I put it on. Again, it just seems like some of the gear doesn't matter so much, but it does improve your damage numbers, and early on, you're trying to get damage. So that's what I've done with this. And like I said, try to make sure and put as much life as you have into this so that you don't die in that first area. I was kind of iffy on whether I was going to get through into the Abyss section. It's a pretty thick area, and I've got like end game gear. This is Throne of the Herald, like max stuff, and it's still not that great for that area. So I was kind of surprised by that. Let's see here. In the shop, there's a bunch of stuff in the shop, and I've got a few things picked up. If you need, this is not gold or the Slayer coin or whatever. The only reason I have any of this at the moment, I did a little combat, but I didn't generate that much. What got me some is if you go into the Township tasks, there's like 1 million Township tasks in here. There's a ton of these things. So right off the bat, I had a couple of things that I got pretty easily, and I turned them in, and they gave me some stuff. So don't sleep on these Township tasks. They will get you off the ground and moving forward. Let's see. Combat wise, if you do not have an abyssal weapon, you're not doing abyssal combat. You cannot go into the abyssal area without the combat or without the weapon. No gear works for damage reduction, stun, bleed, whatever, but they do seem to improve the damage numbers, which I mentioned earlier. Corruption builds stacks and then applies. So if we go into if we go into, God, I gotta get used to this interface. So if we go into this, you're going to see this little corruption progress. As we get, I believe it's when we take a hit, the corruption stacks up. And then once the corruption stacks up to 10, you actually get the benefits of corruption. So now we've got this. So now I get plus 25% accuracy. So if we go click on the little corruption box here, it pulls this up. What I have unlocked is 25% accuracy. So it says monsters have access to the same corruptions. Okay, cool, whatever. Corruptions are unlocked by defeating a corrupted monster with the respective corruption active. There is a small chance for a locked corruption to appear on a corrupted monster if their combat level meets the requirements. So you got to look on here. It says found on monsters with combat level greater than equal to 10,000. So you got to go in there and find the combat level. So basically just as you're fighting stuff, it'll show up. You'll see the combat level on these, combat level 445. So I think I got the alligator eating the right place. that's how we were shown in school, is the alligator to the right or to the left, whichever one it's eating is greater than or less than. I might have got that backwards. I think that's greater than equal to 10,000. So we're not going to get any more corruptions until we find monsters of 6,000, and then you go on from there. So at any rate, those are going to be few and far between, but once you get 10 stacks, then you get the corruption applied, which is cool, whatever. Regular food does not heal all that much, so I have a lot of hit points to recover, so I have to eat a lot of food. So this is basically like getting back to shrimp or something like that to start off with. It kind of sucks. But you get a bunch of drops. The furthest that I've been able to get is the abyssal plants, the chickens, and the cows. I've not gotten to do the scarecrows because those things almost one-shot me. Well, they do one-shot me. I did try a slayer area, but that thing one-shots me. Like, I need way better stuff. So I was like, okay, I can do a little bit of combat and I can get a little bit of gear, but I'm kind of limited. So I started looking at all the other things in the game. You come down to farming. I don't really understand this. You've got this special thing, but it says I need an abyssal level 4, which if I'm going to plant, wouldn't my farming need to be level 1 to buy this? Like, I don't understand this. This doesn't make sense to me. I don't understand it, but I don't know. I'm not real sure on this one. Because like if you click on the abyssal stuff, it says you can do abyssal potatoes, but I don't know where you plant them. Like, it doesn't make sense. I can't plant anything on here unless I can plant them here. I didn't look at this. Oh, I guess you can plant them here. Okay. So you can do, okay. All right. So you have to plant them in the regular world and then get them in the abyssal world. All right. That was kind of goofy. I'm like, how do I get to level 4 to buy this when I can't even plant anything? So we'll have to sort that out. I don't have potato seeds yet. Township. Township has got a lot of changes. And I don't know about your township, but my township was basically bricked when I came in. I don't know if I like overextended my vendor trade out or something like that. I'm not sure. But like my population was almost nothing and I can't get anything repaired. I'm waiting to get this thing repaired here, but I need like so much stone. And I got to wait for this to refresh so I can build this. As I've repaired my buildings, my populations came up rapidly and I've been able to buy stuff and do things. But it's something trashed my city and I don't know what's going on with it, but I got to wait for all this to come back. But I did notice we do have this fight waves. I remember they said that we were going to get the ability to have combat with towns, and it looks like they've added that with this abyssal stuff. So I've got like my little abyssal gateway added in here. We can repair that. I guess my township auto repair is not working. I haven't really dove into this very much. I haven't built anything in here, but like apparently we're gonna have to. I don't know. Maybe I should build one of these. Build one of those. I don't really know what I'm doing yet, but I'll build one. We'll build a weaponsmith. Yeah. All right. So I'm kind of like totally out of my element here. I don't know what I need to do. Apparently I've shortchanged myself on all my food and resources, and the resources are just going to have to build up very slowly. I don't get it. But like I said earlier, township tasks, there's a ton of these township tasks. Definitely take advantage of them because they will give you a lot of good stuff early on that it's going to take a while to get otherwise. Let's see here. XP boosting gear for all these skills seems completely worthless. So if I go chop this tree and I switch over to my XP gear, let's see. This is 602 Abyssal XP. If I switch over, it's still 602. It doesn't matter what I swap out to. Nothing on here makes a difference. I saw somebody say that maybe your mastery stuff would get changed. So this is 13 and 6. So if I switch over to that, it goes to 26 and 13. But that's weird because if I switch to just nothing, I get more mastery than if I switch to the stuff with mastery. I don't understand. That does not compute. I don't know how I'm getting less XP or less mastery with like nothing equipped. Something doesn't add up, but okay, whatever. Sure. I don't get what's taking me down in XP. If I get rid of, because I was doing some mining, let's see, there was nothing that took away XP, was there? Like everything should be giving me positives. I don't know, whatever. I'm not going to overthink that. Your XP gain is awfully slow. I almost feel like, that 60 is really 120, but they've just called it 60 and cut the amount of XP you get or doubled the amount of XP you need or something like that. However you want to say it. It feels like this is drastically different and way slower. Because like if you start normal wood cutting, you're up to level 5 or 10 within a few minutes, you know, half an hour and you've got the first couple of levels unlocked. Like if you come over here, you could get up to oaks and willow trees fairly quickly. This, I let this go for quite a while and I barely got, you know, I just saw how slow it was moving and I'm like, yeah, that's going to be a grind there. So for skills that you can start working on immediately, wood cutting, fishing, fire making, well, fire making once you've done wood cutting, but what I mean is based on you don't have to go do something else or you don't have to get some other item. You can do wood cutting, fishing, which are your, and mining, which are your traditional gathering skills. Then you can go into fire making, cooking, thieving. You have to use the Abyssal sword. It's kind of weird. If you don't have the Abyssal sword equipped, it just says you can't do this. So it's kind of odd. And then agility and astrology. I think agility, you can't actually start unless you buy this first obstacle and you have to go get some stuff to do that. And then astrology just starts right off the bat and you can go do this, which is fine. But then like some of the other skills like herblore, you're not going to be able to do anything in here because you're not going to have any of the materials to do this with. Is it skills? Yeah, like I don't have, you know, you're going to have to go grow some herbs to get this done. I do have the stones for it. I don't know, summoning, you're not going to have the summoning tablet. I mean, I guess it kind of follows your normal stuff, but like fletching, you need to get smithing leveled up quite a bit. Like I thought with, if we go into standard arrows, like you can do arrow shafts. Like you could start working on fletching once you had some wood. You could just start making arrow shafts and you can make headless arrows. Like you can make progress with this doing that. With this, you can't. There's like nothing you can work on because everything's locked out unless you start working on this. Same thing with stuff like crafting too. Like there's the Abyssal armor, but unless you have some leather, which is not terribly hard to obtain, you go kill some cows or whatever, and then you get this. But it feels like there's far less, whereas in the base game, you could go buy leather and just start working on it. You know what I mean? Like there's half the skills, half of the non-combat skills are workable right out of the gate. You got to do something a lot of somethings to make other stuff work. And then smithing, like you can't even just go smith. I can't just go mine up this abyssium ore and then start smithing. I need to go get these abyssal stones. I didn't know where these things came from. Well, those come from harvesting. You have to go down here and then you can get abyssal stone and then you can craft the smithing stuff. But you need a lot of this. It's not just 1 for 1 or like with the coal on the other side, it was like 1 for 6 or something like that. You need 4 and 4. So you're going to need between the amount of XP you need and the amount of stuff you have to grind out. I think this is going to be a very long running, and then the fact that you can't put any boosters and stuff on it. It just feels like this is going to be a very slow grind, let's see. Harvesting. This is kind of like thieving or wood cutting or something like that. It just kind of goes across and grabs stuff. But this one's a little weird. Like this says chance for, no, this one here, this intensity. Where did I see that? That was on the mastery. So if I look at the mastery on this, at mastery level 90, this harvesting vein no longer reduces intensity over time. So does that mean that if I let this sit till tomorrow, this intensity just reduces to nothing? That seems kind of odd. Like it just wastes off and then I lose the ability to get stuff. Like I can't get abyssal bark until I'm at 40% intensity. That seems kind of crappy. You know what I mean? Like if I don't do this for a week, I've lost all the ability to grab these. So I almost feel like I need to get 99 mastery in this before I do anything else, or at least 90 so that it's up, not going to lose anything. That seems kind of odd. Okay. So what I did is, we haven't even got into like skill trees yet. I do have a skill point that I can do. I guess I'll do interval. Sure, why not? So I guess each one of these gives me a different, so I don't have one, I don't have farming yet. What else have I done a lot of? Attack? Strength, maybe? Nope. I don't have anything in any of these. Okay, so anyway, what I did is I basically came in here, I did the Abyssal Approach, I did Into the Abyss, then I came off and just tried to figure out how to get into combat, because I was like, all right, what do I go next? I was kind of not expecting to do the dungeon stuff first. I thought I would have to go into like a combat area or something like that or whatever, but you have to do the dungeon. Then you have to go in and start doing combat. So what I did is I went in here and fought the plants, which gives you potatoes and potato seeds. I thought I should have potato seeds. I thought I killed a few of these. Anyway, then the chickens give you abyssal feathers, and then these cows give you leather. So I've fought those, and it says we've got the reverse combat triangle in effect, which it doesn't matter. The first thing they give you is a sword. So, you're kind of stuck sword on sword. And then I kind of just looked around at this. So the Slayer areas are kind of interesting. So you've got, instead of, what do we got here? Easy, normal, hard, stuff like that. Like they've changed it. So you've got woe and decay and fear, ruin, isolation, dissolution, resolution. I think that's coming from a mod that I have that tells you what the task is. So this is a mythical task. Maybe not. I would expect this to be isolation. This might be base game then. I'm not sure. Kind of hard to tell what is or isn't mod anymore. But at any rate, I started looking at the different things. There's a ton of different Abyssal Slayer areas. Like this is a decent size. Here's the Abyss. Here's like all the dungeons that are in there. Then you've got the Abyssal Strongholds. Like this is a good sized expansion. This is fairly large. But anyway, what I did was I went into the Approach, the Abyss. Then I started farming in this stuff here. Then I kind of just started looking around and I went through the different skills. I can do magic now. So I did figure out how to get the Abyssal Staff, and I got some magic, runes, so I can do magic. If we go over, no, they don't show it here. Oh, they show it in the Abyssal Realm. So I've got some of the Abyss runes. I can't do any of this other stuff yet. Like, it takes forever to level up any of this stuff to get there. But I did figure out that I have not tried magic yet. I've just done melee, and I kind of messed around with woodcutting. I cut this. Basically, what I did is I went through the different gathering skills like woodcutting, fishing. I did a little bit of fire making just to see how it worked, which it does produce. This produces withered ash and abyssal bark, so it does create something. I went through cooking and cooked up a little bit, did a little bit of mining on both of the abyssal essence and abyssium ore, did whatever smithing I could once I figured that out. I tried a little thieving. This thieving sucks. 24% success rate is terrible. I think it actually goes up if I equip thieving gear. Yeah, so it goes up to 48% when I put some of this stuff on. It was like 30-some% or something earlier. I have to play around with that. But I checked everything out as much as I could. Couldn't do anything with fletching. I finally could do something with crafting. Rune crafting I tinkered with a little bit. You can go over here and create this. And you can create this staff once you've got the runes and enough of the wood chopped out. Herblore was not able to do anything there. Agility, I did get to where I could buy this first obstacle. So it cost me some coin, abyssal coin. And then I had to make some of these abyssal bars. I went with this here because it gives me harvesting, XP, and mastery and interval. I figured that would be better. This is like combat, I think. And I think this is combat also. These both look combat to me. Hidden corruption level sounds combatish, and food healing value and all that. That's just all combat. But then there's like 10% chance to gain 1 additional resource in cooking. Now, does this apply to the base game? I'm not entirely sure. Let's see. Then I went down, checked out summoning. I did get a summoning mark. I got this golem thing, but I can't create it. Actually, I can now. So we can create that. Dog came in and thumped down. So we can create this thing. Basically, what I wanted to do is create a bunch of stuff and get things and say, okay, I want to put that in this tab here, and I want to put this in where's my tab here for, I got a tab for summoning tablets and stuff like that. So I just wanted to get them in there and then lock them. So I've got like this tab with all the different crafting materials in here. Just throw it in here, lock it. That way it just kind of goes away and gets organized. And that's basically what I've done. I did a little bit of astrology, just a fair touch of it. And then I've spent a lot of time with harvesting. And then as I figured out, I think what you want to do, I don't think you really want to just sit down and focus on one thing entirely. I think you kind of want to bounce back and forth a little bit. So that's kind of what I've done is I may let this run on astrology overnight since this is going to give me harvesting XP. But I don't think I want to let this go to level 60. I don't think I want to do that. And I don't think I want to let agility go crazy on that either. I don't know. I'm just kind of trying to figure my way into this. How much time we got? This is going to be a long video. The other thing that I want to mention really quickly, and I don't want to do too deep a dive on this, but be careful on all your gear and potions and everything. Like, a lot of things don't work. So if we come over here to mining, absolutely nothing works. So if I equip this, we've got 258 XP with 45 and 22. So these went up because I took my skilling suit off. So I got my mining boots on. Okay, I got to take something back. The mining interval works. So this works. But let's see, if I take this off, nope, that doesn't change the mastery or anything. Does this change mastery? No. This doesn't. Is it this ring? Nope. Global skill XP. This is the thing that kills me. If I take this off, nope. 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 This says chance to gain additional resource. This doesn't work. Actually, I think that might work. 46 and 23, 50 and 25. I don't understand. This has got global mastery XP. 46 and 23. If I take this off, now it goes to 44 and 22. Okay, so that actually does something. Global skill XP doesn't do anything. So why am I changing now? Okay, so it's those boots. Do those boots have something on there that says, it just says mining interval. So it's actually better. I mean, it speeds up the interval, but so that's a 0.9 interval and that goes to 0.8, but I lose. I wonder if that says it on there. That's kind of going to bother me. Mining boots. Those are under here. Does this actually say anything on here? No, this actually does not say a word about a debuff that you take for your mastery, but you definitely get a debuff. So what I'm trying to drive at is there's a lot of weird behavior in here. I would expect when something says global skill XP that it would be global, but this doesn't work. If I take this off, I still have 258 XP, which is mind-blowing. I don't understand. I would expect global to be global. So there's a lot of things that don't work. What else did I notice in here? There was so your skilling township skilling suit does basically nothing. I'm not sure what. Oh, I was doing let's see, crafting. So I have 3% resource preservation. If I go ahead and equip the crown of relics, that goes up to 28%. So that actually does work, but nothing else on here does. So chance to gain. Summoning tablets, I think were affected. I might have been doing regular summoning though. So if I put this on, this is going to give me a faster crafting interval, but and a little bit of mastery XP. Where's mastery? This is 24 and 12. I equipped this and it did not change that. So not everything, but my interval should change. So it's 1.95. If I take this off, it's 2.05. So some things do work and some don't. I wish there was some tags on here that said whether it was Abyssal compliant or what worked off the Abyss. It's going to be a lot of trial and error for these items to figure out what does and doesn't work. I don't like that because there's things that I would expect to work that don't work and things that I wouldn't think would matter. If you're going to take part of it off, why not take the whole thing? Or like with this mining boots. I mean, the interval works, but why am I losing mastery off of it? I'm assuming they're making up for the interval increase, but it's weird. It doesn't say it on the item. So there's a lot of weird nuance to this. You'll also notice that you have additional primary resources created per action, and this is only on the Abyssal side. So if I switch over to, it's only on the Abyssal side. You have to select an item. So those go away. When you're on this here and you click an item, it adds this and it adds this. Cost reduction applied to production costs. So there's some other cool bonuses we're going to be able to add in some fashion. So anyway, yeah, the expansion looks really good. I'm digging it. I'm interested in the way this all works. I like the fact that I'm kind of torn. So I was thinking about, would I rather have this as a completely separate game mode, or would I rather have this tacked onto the end and I have to go through the stuff that I'm doing? In some regards, the things that I do benefit from is the fact that I already have all my bank space. I have my tabs set up, so I've already got like, here's the tab for tablets. Here's the tab for my rings and amulets. Here's one for all my fighting gear. Here's one for all my non-combat gear. Here's the one for food. So like I can just start putting the Abyssal stuff in here. Here's the whatever these things are called. You know what I mean? Like I've already got my tab set up. I've already got my gold. So if I need to buy something or add another tab or buy tablets or whatever for the summoning and stuff, if I need to buy any kind of materials and stuff like that take regular coin, I already have all that. However, this does just feel like a completely separate expansion from the main game. So and like some of the rings and amulets and some of the weapons and stuff apply and some of it doesn't. You know, it almost feels like you should just start over. I'm kind of torn on that one. So I don't know. We'll see how this goes. I don't hate it. it's just different. It's just way different, and I'm not sure how to feel about it quite yet. Because I was thinking about this. I was out earlier and I was thinking about this. You could separate this out and it just be a completely separate game mode by itself. Like you've got relic mode or whatever. Like you could have a whole different save file that runs. I know they're probably trying to keep it in some kind of continuity for like story and your gearing and all that stuff and tabs and money and whatever else you got. But it almost feels like it could just be its own thing. So anyway, we need to wrap this up. This video's gone on for a while. That is everything that I have noticed so far. I know there's going to be a lot to this, and we're going to find out a lot more going forward. The best I can tell you, man, is just go through and experiment with different items. Take the time, put stuff on, take stuff off, see what it does. Like rune crafting, I ended up turning off these potions. These do not work. So if I go in here and say I just go create runes, if I turn this on, it uses the potion. There's 48, there's 47, there's 46. It's completely wasting my potions. So I just stopped using them. Some summoning tablets work, some synergies work, some things do and some things don't. This has kind of got a little confusing for no reason, and I don't really understand it. So anyway, that's everything that I've found with this expansion so far. And I don't know, let me know how you're enjoying it. I think it's kind of cool. But it is different. It is very much tacked onto the end. It is one that you would definitely want to beat the base game before you ever purchase. There's nothing you can do with it until you beat the base game. And there's nothing that can come from this to the base game, from what I gather, or vice versa. There's very little trade over. So anyway, that'll do it for this video. We will catch you on the next one. Take care.